Jimmy Kimmel returned last night. One of his funniest lines, reading a message he said was approved by Disney. It was about resubscribing to Disney Plus and Hulu. Well played. And yet about a third of the country, including the nation's capital, was blacked out due to decisions made by ABC affiliates owned by Nexstar and Sinclair. But we all know how to watch online. Late-night audiences have been gravitating in that direction for years. Kimmel's monologue soared there. More than 19 million views so far, and of course, still counting.
You understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man, nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison.
Senior TV editor for Variety, Brian Steinberg, joins me now. Brian, it's great to have you with us. It doesn't matter if I think this is a moment. You're much closer to the industry and cultural trend lines in this country. Does it feel like a moment to you, Brian?
It does. And this is an unusual set of circumstances. Kimmel had to navigate his way through, a lot of pressures on both sides, politics, finances, culture, a lot of different stuff. And he seems to have prevailed.
And the president has said in response that he wants to sue ABC over this, believes a lawsuit would be even more lucrative. There aren't many legal bases for a lawsuit in this particular space, but that doesn't appear to deter the president rhetorically or otherwise.
Well, I think we're starting to see media companies shoulder up a little bit more. New York Times fought off a $15 billion lawsuit that may be refiled again. But yeah, I think the media companies are saying we did try to settle our way out of this before, but we're only being asked to do more and more. It's illegal. It's also in violation of a lot of American ideals and standards. So I think maybe we're starting to see a formation of a barrier start to build.
And Brian, what was the expectation within the TV watching world, meaning your professional world, for what Jimmy Kimmel might or might not do? And from your vantage point and those in the industry, how did the monologue and the show land?
Well, I think people want to see who's going to apologize out now. I think he was contrite without being obsequious, and he was defiant without being strident. He didn't try to offend enough, start a whole new cascade of accusations. He tried to explain himself, explain the value of what he does, and explain why he was trying to move forward. I think he seemed to have pulled it off last night, and you're seeing Nexstar and Sinclair with statements today saying they're discussing with ABC a way to kind of come back, which isn't as strident as they were a few days ago.
Does that suggest to you, Brian, some softening within Nexstar and Sinclair?
Sounds like there are discussions going on. I'm not sure how long Sinclair and Nexstar can do a preemption of a single show without some other basis, like a local disaster or news event, to make it being so. They have contracts in place that are supposed to be honored, and I think over time Disney could find another station to broadcast Kimmel, or even tell people in the area to go buy Hulu or Disney Plus and watch his show there.
Brian, it's plainly evident I'm no longer a young person, but when I was a young person, I watched a lot of late-night television. The demographics, however, are not the same as they were when I was young, and the audience has been trending against all late-night comedians for quite some time. They have tried with limited success to have a second life in the online world the next morning or midday the next day. What are the industry expectations for this particular kind of format and this particular kind of comedy?
Look, this format is under pressure. It is not like when Johnny Carson sat behind a desk at NBC and everyone in the nation who was going to watch that kind of show would watch him live or live to tape. There are more hosts, there are more options, there are fewer audiences watching at the time they're supposed to watch, 11:30, 12:30 in the morning. They can catch up later on, and then 24 hours later. So there is pressure on this format, which is actually a signature of American television. There's been a late night host trying to put people to sleep for decades. I think what's happened is in the recent years, there have been smaller audiences, fragmentation, from Carson to Letterman and Leno to now multiple different hosts. And the hosts have gotten more political, more barbed, more outrageous. because that's what drives online chatter. So it is, it's begun to hurt their stature and their status, certainly.
I appreciate the time, Brian. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Thanks so much.